Hi guys, welcome to the Voice Teach Show. My name is Connie Kireke and I'm so happy you could join us here today. Today we have something so exciting, I can't wait to learn from it. Because guess what? It's something that affects you and me and everyone at large. There's a saying that says we are what we eat. How we look, how we are really starts from the inside. And today we'll be talking about it. What I'm talking about is nutrition. And to help us understand this topic quite nicely, we have a very special guest. She's a nutritionist. Her name is Makena Kimathi, and she'll be telling us or explaining to us what exactly is nutrition, how can you be healthier so that we help ourselves in the future. So I don't think I need to even elaborate more on the importance of nutrition. If you want to learn about how to stay healthy, how to lose some weight, how to be a better person physically, today is the show for you. So karibu sana and let's see what she'll teach us today.
Thank you for that, Connie. And as she said, we are here to talk about nutrition. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Keith Kinoti and I'll be your co-host for this show. Let's get to meet our guests. Karibu sana, Makena.
Thank you so much for having me. As Connie said earlier, my name is Makena Kimathi and I'm a clinical nutritionist by profession.
A clinical nutritionist.
Yes.
Let's get to understand that. What is nutrition?
So nutrition is pretty easy. In definition, it is the intake, absorption, and utilization of the required nutrients. Pretty simple.
That's what it is.
Yes.
In layman's language now.
The required nutrients are broken into two. There's the macro and the micronutrients. So macronutrients, we have the carbohydrates, the proteins, and the fats, which provide energy and support bodybuilding. Then there's the micronutrients, which are iron and sodium, magnesium. They support the normal functioning of the body.
What is your normal day-to-day routine as a clinical nutritionist?
Okay, so I can work in the inpatient setup and in the outpatient setup. In the outpatient department, I majorly deal with undernutrition or overnutrition, but without medical complications. So basically, people who want to lose or gain weight. In the inpatient setup, it's more complicated because sick people who have hypertension, diabetes, kidney disease, they need to have a specific balance of the nutrients they need in their bodies.
So karibu sana,
Thank you.
Makena once again. Maybe just to take you back, you said you're a clinical nutritionist.
Yes.
What's the difference between, say, is there a normal nutritionist and a clinical nutritionist? Where is the difference?
There's not really much difference because we all cover the same grounds, just that a clinical nutritionist is based in a hospital setup.
Oh,
Yeah, because there is a nutritionist who can be partner in a gym kind of situation, and there's one who will be a freelance nutritionist. So I'm just based in a hospital, so to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that, so that's something good to pick out. Now, let's say I'm new to this whole nutrition thing.
Okay.
All I know about nutrition is what I'm eating. Now, if, say, I'm too big and I feel like I want to lose weight,
Yeah.
where do you start? Is it by cutting back fat, or where do you start as a new person?
So one thing we say about nutrition, there is no bad food. That is where we start from. So if you want to cut weight, all you have to do is create something known as a nutrient deficiency or a calorie deficiency, so that whatever your body requires, you provide less, so that the body now will burn the excess fat to provide the energy. And in so doing, you get to lose the weight. So you just eat normal food, but less amounts of it.
So for our guests who are watching, the number one trick now I've learned is not about cutting fats out of your plate 100% because that might not be sustainable.
Yes.
The issue is eat whatever you want to eat, but eat it in small amounts. It's a big lesson. Thank you.
Just to go back to that question of weight loss, then there would be a question of how important is the when I eat? Because there are people who snack, who will eat small portions throughout the entire day, and there are people who will have the normal breakfast, lunch, dinner, but in larger portions. So how important is that when?
Thank you for that question. So when to eat, we break it down into 5 meals in a day. We have breakfast, we have the mid-morning snack, there's the lunch, evening snack, and there's a dinner. So as long as you're meeting your nutrient requirement, you can have as many meals in a day. For example, my body requires 1,500 kilocalories to function, then I will need to eat food that matches the 1,500 kilocalories. So whether I have 3 main meals or 5 small meals, as long as I meet that nutrient requirement, it will not matter when I eat.
How do you know how much kilocalories you need?
So basically, a nutritionist calculates the energy that you expend during the day, how much energy you need for your heart to circulate your blood through your bloodstream, how much your lungs need to filter the air that you breathe in, and even the energy that you use to walk around during the day and do simple activities. So we calculate what is known as the basal metabolic rate. That is the energy that you expend during the day. Yes. Now, once we have determined the basal metabolic rate, now we get to tell you how much food will give you that amount of energy. So anything above that is an excess, and anything below that is a deficiency.
And at what ages does the basic metabolic rate start to go down that you have to be so conscious about what you eat?
Once we clock 30 years, our bodies generally start to reduce the metabolic rate at a percentage every year. Yes, every year the metabolic rate goes down. So, but when you're in your 30s, you have a lot of energy, so you can keep fit. You add exercise to your routine. Yeah, but now as we get older, 60s, 70s, because this person can't exercise, now you have to watch whatever this person is really eating. Yeah.
There's something you said in the introduction about overnutrition and malnutrition. Could you dissect that more?
So malnutrition is a deficiency or an excess in the required nutrients. So if you have a deficiency, then you're undernourished. If you have an excess, then you're overnourished, which we call overweight and obesity.
So let me ask, how important is when I eat? I know you said you can eat the morning snack, lunch, evening snack, and dinner, or you can just eat the 3 main meals.
Okay.
When important is that? Because you've seen nowadays there's a lot of intermittent fasting. People are saying they're not eating after 3 p.m.
Yeah.
or 5 p.m. until the following day at 12. So is that correct, or what are your thoughts?
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. We have all had that, and we think it's something very basic, but it's very important. When we sleep for about 8 hours. During that time, our bodies go into something known as a fast. During the fasting period, our bodies use up the energy that we have stored. So when you fast for a long period of time, your body starts breaking down the fats, which results to ketone bodies, which is not good for your body. So just eat food, breakfast, lunch, supper, or breakfast, mid-morning snack, lunch, evening snack, and supper. But the last meal of the day should be about 3 hours before you go to bed to allow for digestion and avoid issues of constipation and indigestion.
So for me, this is like a light bulb moment.
Okay.
I mean, right now, it's trending everywhere, intermittent fasting. It's like start your first meal at 12 or at 10 at the earliest, and make sure you finish eating by 6, So you want to tell me these things are all wrong. We should always make sure we eat something for breakfast.
Yes, there's a lot of diets going on. There's the intermittent and so many Mediterranean. I've had so many things. The point is, dieting is wrong. We all need to consume our meals, breakfast, lunch, and supper. Alternatively, you can have the 5 meals during the day. The intermittent fasting is wrong because once you skip feeding for a long period of time, your body goes into a starvation mode. So your cells start burning down fats for energy. And what this does, it releases ketone bodies, which cause acidity in your body. So you end up getting diseases.
So I think anyone who is watching this, please remember to share this with anyone who is doing all these diets. Please tell them. Intermittent fasting, don't kill me, but our nutritionist has advised us, let's make sure we eat all our meals. But the trick is, as you said, portion control.
Just to add finally on what she's saying, if you want to lose weight, the key is calorie deficit. Talk to a nutritionist, let them calculate your BMR and tell you how much energy you need. Therefore, in that situation, you get to lose weight the right way and avoid so many complications along the way.
How can people contact you as a nutritionist if they want to learn? What's your number or email? How can they reach out to you?
Okay, so my email is makenakimathi2@gmail.com. Alternatively, you can reach me via mobile on 0734 501 785.
Thank you for that, Quentin. But we're also talking about dieting. What about people who are into workouts? What would you advise them? How should they eat? When and do they eat before or after the workouts?
So somebody who is working out needs a lot of energy to be able to lift the weights and run or skip or cycle. So what happens is they need a higher calorie intake. This person will be taking about 2,000 to 2,500 kilocalories in a day. Eating right before the gym will not be nice because you might throw up everything that you've taken. But point is, make sure you have eaten sufficient amounts of food to take you through your day and your exercise routine.
Especially with this COVID time when people are back out, we've seen people cycling, people are hiking a lot more, people are doing a lot more fitness exercise. So
Yeah.
I believe that info will be good for them. So guys, don't skip meals as we've been advised, and just measure your portions. It's the best and most
Effective way.
effective.
Yeah, one other thing to add, as people are busy working out, you remember to eat your vegetables and your fruits. They help with the intake of the energy and the utilization, so that's very important also.
Can we go back to basics just for a moment? Break down our plate.
Okay. So as I mentioned before, the major nutrients that we require are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So a simple breakfast will be like a cup of tea with milk for the calcium. Any carbohydrate will do. It will be a piece of sweet potato, arrowroot, or a few slices of bread. Never above 4. Yes, never above 4.
Why for? Why for?
Okay, back to the basal metabolic rate. If you're taking more than 4 slices and you're not using up all that energy, then the excess glucose is stored as fat in your body. So you end up gaining weight. That's why.
So never above.
Never above 4. Yes.
Lunch?
Okay, so lunch, your plate should also contain the major nutrients. So you'll have a third of your plate as rice, a third of your plate as meat, and a third of your plate as vegetables. I am using a third as a safe portion for people who want to maintain their weight. For those who want to lose weight, a quarter carbohydrates, a quarter of your plate proteins, and half of it should be vegetables.
A follow-up question just to close this diet topic.
Okay.
Someone is on a diet, because ideally, as much as there are guys who are already into it, there are guys who are on vegan diets. It's not completely, they are not completely off it, but it's just for a period.
Yeah.
What would you advise? Is something like a cheat day allowed? Because there are a lot of guys who say vegan diets, but once a month I'll indulge in some meat, some pizzas.
Okay, as a nutritionist, I'm not allowed to encourage dieting. Consume your food. She gave us a very nice quote in the beginning. We are what we eat. Exactly. Eat your food. Have your ugali, have your chicken, have your fries every once in a while. Just consume an adequate portion. Then you won't have to have a cheat day because you're consuming all these nice things in a safe space. Exactly.
Let me ask this maybe on behalf of someone who's watching us today. I've been going to the gym for like 4 months.
Yeah.
And I'm not losing as much. I am, but maybe at a very small, slow rate.
Yeah.
Am I eating the wrong foods? Is that why I'm not losing weight? Or because some people say food is the most important thing, exercise doesn't do much. Is that a true statement?
Yes. If you're eating the right amount of food, you are to lose weight even without exercise. Exercise is just a way of fast-tracking the weight loss. But essentially, the safe allowed limit of weight loss is 1 kg a week. 1 kg every week. Anything above that is drastic weight loss and it could be bad for your health. So it is something that should be consistent. Yeah, so 4 months, a little bit of weight loss is acceptable because you're also building a lifelong trait. This is something that you're going to carry on for the rest of your life with or without the gym and with or without having to diet.
If someone is losing, say, 2 kgs a month, is that considered slow or fast?
Well, we also different. There are people who have high metabolism and there are those who have a slow metabolism. So it all depends with, it is very individualized. That's why I'm saying contact a nutritionist, because all this intermittent fasting and whatnot, it's very broad. You don't know, this person could be having diabetes, could be having hypertension. So be very specific. Get to know this person. Who are they? What do they have or what are they suffering from? Then get to build a nutrition plan based on this individual person. So 2 kgs is not so bad for a month.
I'd like us to also talk about, there are certain myths about food. For example, it is said, us in our family, not me, but I'm just saying, us, certain times it's said, family yetu, all of us are big. It's just in our blood.
Yeah.
Even if I eat what, we're all big. Are such things true? Or it's just an excuse?
I will say it's an excuse because look at it this way. We are all used to eating large portions of food. At home, we serve food using a sinia, not a plate. So when you say we are all big, it's because you're all eating from a sinia, not a plate. Yeah, so it is just a myth. But there are people who have metabolic syndromes, which slow down their metabolism and cause them to gain weight. But in such a situation, these people will have a medical complication. So if you're healthy and you're gaining weight, then that means you're just eating the wrong amount of food, not necessarily the wrong type of food.
How do you know when your weight gain is being caused by something wrong with your metabolism? There are certain times you hear about thyroid issues that have slowed down your metabolism.
Yeah.
When do you know this is not necessarily what I'm eating and probably this a problem?
So most of the time, these people will have diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and also hormonal imbalance, both for the female and the male. For the females, there'll be maybe an issue with your menstrual cycle. For the men, there'll be an issue with the testosterone levels. So majorly hormonal imbalance. Somebody who has chronic acne is an indication of hormonal issues. So in such a situation, then you get to see a medical doctor and work with a doctor to balance your hormones and get your body back on track.
Any other myths that you can probably think of when it comes to food?
My greatest battle is with the mothers who are weaning their children off breast milk. So once they start, everybody gives pumpkin and spinach. So by the time this baby is 1 year old, they can't walk. They have something known as rickets. So for mothers who are about to start weaning their children off breast milk, give your child every food group available. So mashed potatoes, give a little bit of beans, and put some greens in your baby's food, and also fruits. Yeah.
For someone who is weaning off the child, as you say, give that whole food group.
Yeah.
How do you feed a child who's probably 1 year, 2 years, beans?
Okay, the thing is, you mash the food. We don't advocate for blending because this baby needs to exercise their jaws and their muscles. So just mash with a fork and give the baby. Yeah.
Just to have that a bit of...
Yeah, they need to chew the food, yes.
What else can we look at for mothers especially who are, say, yeah, as you said, they have small babies and they're starting to feed? What other mistakes are mothers doing and they don't know?
Okay, so now one very important thing is a baby needs twice the energy that we need as an adult. A baby is growing. They need to grow tall and they need to add weight. Besides that, their heart needs to pump blood through their system, the lungs need to clean the air, the kidneys need to filter out dirt from the system. Exactly. So a baby needs twice as more energy as an adult. So mothers should always give their baby food from time to time because they're consuming small amounts. So every 2 hours, give your baby something to eat. Yeah.
When it comes to someone who's like a diabetic, what other food practices can they involve themselves in?
Okay, so for diabetic patients, I would advocate for type 2 kind of flours, meaning maize that is not completely refined, wheat flour that is not completely refined. The kernel helps with digestion, such that the sugar is not being released too fast into the bloodstream, and therefore it does not cause a spike in the blood sugar. So diabetic people focus on wholemeal, not brown. There's a difference. Yes, brown could be just a color. Yes, wholemeal is solid, wholesome food.
So white bread, brown bread. If I'm always taking brown bread, am I healthier or it's more or less the same?
With the current market status, you're not so sure if it's really brown bread or it's just the color. So I would advocate for wholemeal. Always read your food labels. Look for wholemeal products. Don't look for, if you see anything known as refined sugar, stay away from that product.
There's also something that's come out nowadays. People are saying, I don't want to eat gluten. Gluten is not good. This is gluten-free. What is gluten? Is gluten wheat or what is that?
Now, gluten is a protein found in wheat products. And as we know, some people have allergy to protein. We have those who itch their skin and people who have pimples when they eat protein. So gluten is not bad for your health. It's just that some people get a reaction to the gluten. So if you don't have a reaction to the gluten, eat wholemeal wheat products. Don't eat the refined sugars. Just wholemeal wheat products.
So going back to medical issues, could you dissect irritable bowel syndrome?
Irritable bowel syndrome. So this person majorly suffers from things like indigestion because their bowels are unable to digest the food that they consume for one reason or the other. So majorly constipation, indigestion. So you find that they're also not absorbing enough nutrients that they require. Yes, so it's very easy to go down into malnutrition. You can't single out a field of health and say this is purely medicine. It has to be both medical and nutritional, yes. So on the part of nutrition, just ensure that the nutrients this person is taking has been broken down into its finest level. So if it's carbohydrates, make sure it's carbohydrates that have refined, glucose, not refined sugars, glucose, such that it's very easy for the body to absorb the food. So also make the food easy to chew, because mechanical, for example, maize, it's hard food because it has the kernel. So when it is being digested, it will take a long time to digest, and therefore there'll not be enough time to absorb the glucose from the maize. So provide food that is mechanically broken down to ease absorption and digestion.
There's another myth that says meats take about 14 days to digest.
Yeah.
Is that true, or it's just, especially say meat taken at night? Is that true?
It is not false.
It is true.
It is actually true. Proteins take longer to pass through your system, not to digest. Okay. The digestion is a mechanical breakdown from a large chunk of meat into the proteins, the basic amino acids that constitute a protein. So basically, proteins take longer to run through your digestive system.
So the date of 14 days is correct in your system?
Well, it's not really 14 days.
Not 14.
It's more like 9 a
Like
week.
9 days.
Yes.
So what does that mean written? Proteins are moving from your head to your toe. What does that mean?
No, it just means that there's a lot of nitrogenous waste. When we digest protein, there's something we call nitrogenous waste, which we have to expel via our kidneys and our livers. So the reason why you're being told to stay away from meat also is because you're overworking your kidney and your liver trying to expel the nitrogenous waste out of your system. So majorly eat the plant-based proteins, although they also have nitrogenous waste, but it's not as much as what we get from the meat products.
Wow, I hope you guys are getting as much value as we are here today. So when you talk about meat, does this cover the chicken? Because we are Kenyans, we like kuku, we like nyama choma.
Yeah.
Does this cover any type of meat or just red meat?
Meat in general, but it's classified into two. There's the red and the white meat. The red meat, we tell people to avoid or cut back on their intake of red meat because most of the time red meat has what we call saturated fats. Iko na mafuta. Na hiyo mafuta, you're cooking the meat, umeongeza mafuta. Then you consume a large portion of the meat. So in essence, you're consuming excess energy. So it goes, it's broken down and then it's stored in the body. Then you get to add weight. Yeah. The white meat, it doesn't have a lot of fat, except for the skin. Hiyo ngozi ya juu, the one we like so much to crunch on, yes, that is fat. Yes.
The skin is the most.
The skin is fat, so you can consume it, but as I said earlier, portion control. I'm not asking you to discard that kangozi. I also like it, but make sure your portions are in check.
Usikule drumsticks, maybe.
No. Basic, okay. The basic plate, you're allowed to have 2 drumsticks. Yeah, and if your activity level is high, you can have as much as 3 or even 4, depending. If you're going to the gym every day of the week and you're working out and you're lifting weights and all that, then you can have as much as 4 in one sitting, depending on your basal metabolic rate. Yes.
Let's talk about sugar. Sugar has been made to look like it's the worst thing. We should stop taking it. Most of us are avoiding sugar. We take
Honey instead.
honey, we take, there are so many remedies.
Yes.
What's the role of sugar? Is it a good thing, bad thing? Is it better to live without it?
Sugar is very important. Our brains only use glucose, not any other type of sugar. Yes, so we need sugar in our system. The thing is, sugar provides a very high amount of energy per gram. For example, sugar, 1 gram of sugar provides 9 calories of energy.
Ebu? 1 gram
Of sugar provides
That's a small thing.
a gram, not even a tablespoon, a gram. I don't know how we can measure a gram, but it's a very small particle, yes.
Is equal to 9 calories.
9 calories. And alternatively, 1 gram of carbohydrates or proteins provides only 4. So sugar provides double of what these other types of food give. So once you consume sugar in large quantities, then there's the high likelihood of, yes, growing big, because the sugar is in excess. Your body does not need that energy. It converts it into fat and stores in your body.
So it's a good option then to stop taking sugar if I want to create that caloric deficit, you said.
Yes, avoid sugary foods. So you can have that 1 or 2 teaspoons in your tea. There is nothing wrong with that. But avoid soda, avoid all these artificial juices that are being made out there. Yeah, so also this refined, I said refined sugars. So baked products, cakes, cookies, biscuits have a high amount of sugar in them. So cut back on.
The sweeteners.
Yes.
Define refined sugar. Table sugar, is it refined?
Yes. Refined sugar basically means sugar that is not being absorbed into the, like is not being digested in the body. It's being absorbed directly. For example, if you eat ugali, ugali is a carbohydrate. It will eventually give you sugar. It will eventually give you glucose, sorry, but that glucose is not direct. You will not eat ugali and get glucose right now, sorry, from the ugali. You have to digest the ugali, break it down into small pieces, break it down into the basic glucose components. But table sugar is already refined. It's glucose. When you consume it, your blood sugar spikes immediately because it's not being digested, it's just being absorbed.
There's also this small packets of glucose we see everywhere, kids eating. Is that also refined sugar?
Yeah, that is glucose in the essence. It's not being digested in the body. It's already in its simplest form. The body will take it as it is. There is no need for digestion whatsoever.
So that once you take it,
Yes, spike, yeah. Yes. If you are consuming glucose as a snack, it is wrong. Glucose should be used for purposes of, for example, a diabetic who is passing out because of low sugar levels. You can mix some glucose into their water and give it to them to bring back normal blood sugar levels. But it should not be consumed as a snack.
And what about for the sporting athletes? Let's say you're in a basketball team, in a football team, you mix glucose in a mtungi, then you just take it with.
That is acceptable because remember, this person is running maybe a marathon, 24 kilometers. They require a lot of energy. So that glucose circulates throughout their system and helps them to finish the race and not pass out because of fatigue.
I think as we come to the end of the show, I want to ask why there are different types of bodies.
Okay.
You find certain people, maybe their fats go to their stomachs only. You'll find other ladies, maybe
To the hip.
to the hips. Men,
Can be.
you know. So what determines that?
There's really no determinant. We are all different, right? There are people who will eat and add weight, but only at their hips. They are different. We have pear-shaped people who have weight around their hips, and the apple-shaped people who have weight around their stomach or their torso. So it's not really anything that you can do. It's just the type of body that you have. So if you're mindful of the type of body that you have, then whenever you're having the weight, then you can now work out and tone the
body.
Yes.
For those who don't know, we've interacted before, and there's one thing I remember you told me once, that the tummy area is the first place where you will start accumulating fat,
Yes.
and the last place you lose fat.
Because-
Could you explain that in depth? Because
Yes, there are types of fat that are stored in the body, and what is stored around the stomach area is what is known as visceral fat. It is very easy to gain visceral fat. Most people have an issue with their stomach area, but the problem is visceral fat is very hard to break down. So yeah, just be mindful of what you eat, because this fat is also very harmful to your health. It goes and coats the organs that you have, your liver, your pancreas and all that. So once it coats your liver, you get something known as a fatty liver. The liver is what produces the digestive juices. So you'll start having problems with indigestion. Yeah, and also you'll also develop some kind of hormonal imbalance. Yeah.
it's this practice of people getting liposuction to get rid of this whole belly fat,
Yeah.
as you call it. Are you for or?
Well, liposuction is an easy fix. The same way people are eating right to lose weight and going to the gym, liposuction is an easy fix. You will definitely lose the weight very fast and it will look absolutely amazing. But the thing is, if you have not changed your lifestyle, how you eat and how you work out, you will easily gain back that fat. Yes.
And common causes of visceral fat, nyama choma, because tumepina watu wa nyama choma ndo wako na hiyo kita. Is red meat sort of like the main contributor to visceral fat?
It is not the main contributor, but it is what most people indulge in. As I had said before, anything in excess, even if you're eating fruits in excess, it will give you extra. It will give you fat, which will be stored in the body in different areas. So always eat things in the right proportion. If you're having nyama choma, but you're eating enough of it, then there is not going to be that excess in your body. But the thing with nyama choma is also that it has a lot of salt. Unaonja? Chumvi. Hiyo chumvi ina cause blood pressure because of sodium, which is found in the salt. Yes. So that is another thing why we are always told about nyama choma.
I now get why you say we are what we eat.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
simple equation of salt, spike, everything. I didn't know fruits would cause you fat.
If you're eating excess, it is impossible because we don't eat a lot of fruits. But if you're having like 100 fruits and it gives you 2,000 calories, you will have an excess. One last thing before we close. If you're eating the right amount of food and the right, a wholesome food, balanced carbohydrates, proteins, and vegetables or vitamins and fruits, your body is clean. You will not need to do a juice cleanse. I've seen also those kind of things. I am on a juice cleanse, I'm not eating anything, I'm trying to detox my body. The only detox that we need is just to drink enough water. Our liver and our kidneys are there to clean our systems. So eat right, drink your water, and your body will be good to go.
I think this has been one of our most informative sessions. Our guest today has broken down so much information, and I think the takeout for all of us is simplicity is everything.
Yes.
I think the internet has flooded us with so much information that people are spending so much money to go buy such expensive things. Like today you've told us, the body cleans itself. You don't need to go on a detox. Some of us are planning to do 10-day detox of when we juice, all these funny things, and they are being spread on WhatsApp. It's everywhere. But I think you've really brought a lot of sane. I want to encourage anyone who's watching this show, please share this video with as many people as you know, because every human being needs to hear this information. we are really what we eat. I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy that we got to have you on the show. I think based on the demand, we might even have to have you back again just to understand. Maybe next time we can delve into pregnant women, how should they be focused on in future. But ideally, thank you so much. I've learned so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure and an honor to sit here and address the people.
And once again, guys, we've come to the end of this show, and just as my co-host said, I hope you've learned as much as we've learned. I didn't even know fruits in excess could cause fat, but it's been a wonderful session. Thank you once again, McKenna, for your time, for gracing us today. And I'd love to go on with this discussion because it's a journey I've been on as well. Just getting fitter and healthier, and one day, one time.
Maybe for those who are watching, just before we go, maybe say your number again so that they could reach out to you and maybe ask you to offer personalized plans for them.
Okay, so it's 0734 501 785.
And your email?
McKennaKimathi2@gmail.com.
So that's it, guys. You've heard from our nutritionist. She has given her contacts. If you need to talk to her to help you get a plan, feel free to call her. I'm sure she'll be able to offer as much advice. But remember, you got all this from The Voice It Show. Remember to like, remember to subscribe. See you.